Time for a blind reaction. Mehdi Hasan versus 20 far-right conservatives. Never seen this video before, so let's get into it. Alright guys, let's get into this. Mehdi Hasan, not too familiar with this stuff. I've seen some clips on TikTok, and I've seen some clips from this debate actually that were kind of outrageous, but I just want to jump into it and do a blind reaction. Let's go.
Family lineage is settlers from the 1500s.
As always, I'm going to jump around.
It's colonialists.
Yeah,
You
colonials.
don't look very Native American to me.
I am Native American. Whites
not.
are Native Americans. What are
Sorry.
you talking
That is an absurd thing to say.
about?
You're not.
What are you talking about?
You're a little bit more than a far-right Republican.
Hey, what can I say?
I think you could say, I'm a fascist.
Yeah, I am.
Fair, I like that. That's very baller, bro. Based. The last guy that says whites are Native Americans. Okay, buddy.
Listen to me. I am an immigrant. I'm speaking from personal experience.
Get the hell out.
I don't even like... I should get the hell out.
Yes.
Why?
I don't want you here.
I'm Mehdi Hasan. I'm a
That's crazy. But hey, like I said, as long as he's saying it, we can work with that, right? If you don't tell us what you think and you just do some shady racist shit, that's worse. I would rather have that guy. I fuck with that guy, kind of on a level, right? In the modern day, it's important to foster free speech, I think. You know what I mean? I'm obviously the son of immigrants. That could easily have been said to me. But I'm not going to sit here and be like, there's plenty of stuff I could say back to him and diss him back. Like, I'm not going to be like, oh my God, please, fire him from his job. Never let him be employed. Debank him. Like, ridiculous, bro. But I would much prefer that guy, right? Like, we probably would get along in some instances than other people who are, like, super veiled about their shit.
editor of Zeteo, and today I'm surrounded by 20 far-right conservatives.
Like, do I love that? Do I love, like, white supremacy? No. Obviously, like, no, right? No. I don't. That's not, like, my ideology. I'm not. But I'm also, in this modern day, I feel like it's important to stand up for free speech above all else. I feel like that's important, man. We're losing sight of that.
My first claim is Donald Trump is pro-crime and pro-criminal.
It's a ridiculous thing to say. I mean, this is not even a defensible stance, right? Like, obviously, you can say that he's a criminal, you can say that he's committed crimes, but to say he's pro-crime and pro-criminal, not even defensible. Like, outright publicly pro-crime? Obviously not. He's a fucking Republican.
Welcome.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. I'm Mehdi.
I would just like to ask, what makes someone pro-crime versus, anti-crime?
I think when you're soft on criminals, when you let criminals out of prison, when you pardon people who've assaulted police officers, you're pro-criminal. Donald Trump pardoned almost 1,600 people who were involved in January the 6th. I think 600 of them have been charged with assaulting a police officer or obstructing a police officer. 100...
It's actually ridiculous. I'm not going to agree with Mehdi on this and say that he's pro-criminal, but pardoning those people was a joke. I mean, dude, you have people... That's indefensible, man. These people are you can't have people storming the, whatever building, government buildings, Capitol building, White House, whatever it might be. That's completely unacceptable. And those people should be in jail. The fact that they were pardoned is ridiculous. And there's no respect for authority, no respect for law enforcement. The only redeeming factor is that most of them were white. So is that what you're doing, Trump? I mean, you know what I mean? Like, I can't defend that. That's ridiculous. Pardoning those people was absolutely ridiculous. But now here's what it is, right? It's corruption. It is corruption. At the end of the day, what it is he's pardoning his political allies. Those are his political allies. And despite the fact that they committed a crime which is egregious, and any neutral party would say that that's egregious and should not be allowed, he pardoned them. Weak. Pussy. Corrupt.
70 had pled guilty to assaulting a police officer. 70 had pled guilty to assault with a deadly weapon. J.D. Vance said...
Pled guilty doesn't necessarily mean anything, though. A lot of the time, that just... Dude, there are stories of guys who could have pled guilty to 10 years that are in jail right now for 40 years because they didn't take the 10-year plea. You know what I'm saying? Like, you should just take the plea a lot of the time if you... Because here's the thing. Chances are... This is the way the justice system works. I know criminal justice because I have done criminal things in the past. I have a lot of criminal acquaintances. I'm not going to say that I'm involved in like gang banging or anything like that, but I know people who have parents and shit who are Bloods, who are Crips. You know what I mean? I know how this game goes. And I don't, again, like I was raised in a nice neighborhood and I don't have any sort of ties to that behavior, but I know people, right? I know people. Just somehow, some way I know people. And the way these things work, right? They'll have you for one charge. They'll have evidence of one charge, but they'll know kind of that you did like 10 different things, and they'll just give you a plea deal for those 10 different things and be like, otherwise we're going to charge you with all these 10 things. And in reality, they only have enough to put you away for like 10 to 15 years. So they'll give you a 10-year plea deal. And if you don't, then you could just get charged. Sometimes it's like that, and sometimes they have enough to put you away, and they just don't want to have to inundate the court system, and they give you a good deal. So it's a gamble. Pleading guilty is not an admission of guilt in a practical sense. Of course it is in court, right? But in real life, that's not what pleading guilty is.
We're not going to pardon the violent criminals from January 6th. Donald Trump pardoned all of them. Are you okay with that?
I would say.
What J.D. Vance says, see, J.D. Vance is real for that. Vice President Vance said in January, if you committed violence on that day, obviously you should be pardoned. So again, Vice President Vance said in January, if you committed violence on that day, obviously you shouldn't be pardoned. You shouldn't be pardoned anyway. If you stormed the Capitol building, whether you were violent about it or not, you broke the law. It's the same way I feel about illegal immigration. If you're here illegally, it doesn't matter if you're a saint or, you know what I mean, you're a hot chick. It doesn't matter, dude. Go home. And that's the truth, bro. That's the way I feel. I feel like I'm a very neutral person. I'm an independent for this reason. I don't buy into this political corruption, nonsense, collusion, bullshit. And, Vance seems to be a neutral guy based on this stance.
I would say January 6th is a very special case. I would say it's almost a climax point in history. I would just phrase the question this way, right?
I hate when right-wingers do this. This is part of the reason that I can't ever actually embrace right-wing politics, even though that I feel I am center-right and I agree with them on a lot of things, because they're so hypocritical. Like, this kid is sitting here and saying that storming the Capitol building is there's nuance to that. No, there's no nuance, right? If Black Lives Matter did that, they would have all been shot. You know what I mean? If Free Palestine did that, there would be no more Free Palestine because they'd probably be underground, 6 feet under, right? But it was fucking MAGA that did it. So now it's like, okay. It's not okay. It's not okay. And guess what? If Black Lives Matter did it or Free Palestine did it, they should be 6 feet under. They should get shot for that. You don't storm the Capitol building, dog. You don't do that. And MAGA should be 6 feet under for that too. But, this is why I don't like the right wing. Can't stand it, man. Can't stand the bullshit.
Now, in the LA protests, if they were to, just for example, they were to rush the capital of LA, I mean, they'd have to move over all the homeless people living in tents on the steps of the Capitol. But if they were managed to get into the Capitol and they were just protesting, peacefully, let's say police officers were rushing them in. They were letting them in and saying, hey, you guys can go in, like we have many testimonies that say.
What about the violent ones, though?
Okay, violent ones like
what? Like a man named David Dempsey, a judge, a Reagan-appointed judge, sentenced to 20 years.
Police are incredibly Republican. Makes sense. They benefit from Republican policies. I mean, look, at the end of the day, the police should have to turn their badges in. If their job was to protect these buildings and they were just ushering people in to invade, they should have to turn their badges in, and they probably would need to be charged with felonies as well for color of law, enforcement violations, treason, perhaps.
In prison, he stomped on police officers' heads. The judge said his conduct was exceptionally egregious. He attacked police officers with flagpoles and pepper spray. Donald Trump pardoned him. There's a man named Daniel Rodriguez. He got 12 years in prison for taking a stun gun and tasing a police officer in the neck and giving him a heart attack. The judge said he was a one-man army of hate. Donald Trump pardoned him. Does that not make Trump pro-criminal? He's letting violent criminals out of prison.
I would say no, it doesn't make him pro-criminal.
You're okay with that?
I did not say that. I said that one pardon against somebody.
It was 1,600 pardons. 600 of those were people charged
one
with...
example that you just gave me.
I can give you more. Just keep going.
Fine. And I'll say the exact same thing every single time.
Then your argument will fall apart because it's not just one example if I keep going.
Go for it then.
Okay, Shane Jenkins got 7 years in prison for 9 criminal offenses.
Damn, he knows this so well, dude. That's crazy. Yeah, I mean, it's indefensible what Trump did. It's still not, he's not pro-crime, but yeah, I understand. Pardoning these people is ridiculous.
attacking police with a deadly weapon, destroying
Right.
government property.
How do
Trump pardoned
pardons
him.
that probably shouldn't have happened turn into pro-crime?
Yeah, I agree. See, that's the thing. If he would have just said that Donald Trump illegally pardoned people, I mean, obviously it wasn't illegal. I don't know. There was a different way to phrase this subject to make it more defensible. This is an indefensible stance.
You've agreed that they shouldn't have been pardoned.
Sure, but that wasn't your claim. Was January 6th? Your claim was Trump is pro-crime.
Yeah, because he pardons criminals.
Okay, I
He
would say
pardoned
that's a
not-
fault.
Let's talk about non-January 6 people.
Okay.
He's pardoned people like Paul Walshak recently, who took millions of dollars from his own employees, was sentenced to tax crimes, had to pay back $4 million. Trump pardoned him. He bought himself a $2 million yacht. Why is he pardoning criminals like that?
Well, I don't know. I don't think you should. I don't think really presidential pardon should be a thing at all. But I
agree.
I don't think that
All right, Pod,
that means something.
you've been voted out by the majority. Please return to your seat.
Thanks.
I respect that. I don't think presidential pardon should be a thing either. We don't. This is not a monarchy, man. Like, why is the president able to pardon people outright? Ridiculous. I mean, look, that's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. It's terrible.
How's it going?
Hey, how's it going, Mehdi?
What is it?
Mehdi.
You're from northern UK, I guess?
I'm from London, North
Okay,
London.
okay, fair enough. What's your ethnic background, if you don't mind asking?
My parents are from India.
Okay, perfect. Just getting premise here. First of all, I want to say,
Indian gentleman. Muslim Indian, I would assume, by Hasan.
Premise of Donald Trump being pro-crime.
no. I want to concern myself with why you care about what's happening in the U.S. first and foremost. Secondly, I want to say this: with the
Should
argument,
US
like,
should people who live in the US not care about?
Let's not interrupt each other because I have this thing like
Well, you asked a question, buddy. I don't fucking like this guy.
people know I have this thing. I have to stay calm. Okay, so
Okay.
here's the thing. I am happy that he released J6. In fact, so much so that I was prepared to protest if he didn't.
Okay.
So when you say, are you okay that he's pro-crime? Sure, because you know what? We're changing the definition of what crime is, first and
You
foremost.
don't think stomping on police officers' heads is a crime?
I don't think it's no longer a relevant conversation anymore. You're
Really?
arguing, no, it's not, because you know what? Okay, have you seen the U.S. in the last 4 or 5 years?
Yes, I've
BLM
lived
protests.
it for a
Have you
while.
seen? Okay, myself have been involved in these protests. I've seen egregious things that you couldn't even imagine.
So we
being
have no
done to
rules then?
conservatives. It's not about that. It's about tribal warfare.
Okay.
That's where we're at in the U.S. I don't know where you're at in the.
Fair enough. If that's what this guy believes, I think he's fucking lost his mind. But if that's what he believes, I respect that he has this opinion.
UK. You're from India, so I don't really.
I'm not from India.
Oh, you sorry. Your parents are from India. So
I'm,
right, you have your own states.
I'm an American, you know.
You're an American citizen? Okay, fair enough. I don't know how you got that, but fair enough. Here's the thing.
Are you an American citizen?
Absolutely.
Okay.
But here's the
Not
thing.
sure how you got that. Okay.
Born here.
Okay.
Born here, and my family lineage is settlers from the 1500s, so I have some stake in the
Okay.
claim here, okay?
But you're
a little different.
But you're a
than yours.
descendant of immigrants, settlers,
no.
colonialists.
Yeah,
You don't
colonials.
look, you don't
yeah.
look very Native American to me.
I am Native American. Whites
not.
are Native Americans. What are
Sorry.
you talking about?
But you see how that line is kind of arbitrary, though? When you say, I get it, right? I'm Indian American, and I will always identify as such. I'm not going to sit here and be like, I'm American. Like, I guess I am, kind of. But, you know, I grew up here. I went to school here. I behave like an American. But, you know, and I think, like, I felt probably most, on average, closer to what an American thinks like than what an Indian person in India thinks like, right? But at the end of the day, that's true. Like, I can always go back to India, and if I were to really... Bro, if it were the apocalypse... Come on. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know where my loyalties would lie. I mean, I'm not trying to say, like... I'm not trying to say that I'm fucking an outsider. Like, I don't know how to put it, man. Like, I definitely have some loyalty to America. But, like, these people, this guy right here on screen, him and I, like, that's not my ally. You know what I'm saying? Like, that guy doesn't want me here. I don't fuck with dude. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, at the end of the day, yeah, like, there are two sides to this country at this point. It's the truth.
You know.
What are you talking about? Whites are Native Americans.
Really?
I think you're
Why are these people fucking morons, bro? Why? How do you think whites are Native Americans, though? Like, that part is the most delusional thing ever.
Happening before the 1500s.
I think you're getting confused with it.
I don't mind going on
I
a
think
tangent.
you're- I
But
think
what was
you're
happening
getting-
before
no,
the
no,
1500s?
calm down. I think you're getting
What was happening before the 1500s?
There was indigenous people here that
Yeah.
came here
Do
from
you know what
Asia.
indigenous means?
Listen, Before
Indigenous
America,
people
Let-
can't
you
come
don't
from
let me
somewhere
finish?
else.
Why do you ask a question if you're going to interrupt?
I'm not sure if you know what the meaning of indigenous means.
I do know what it means. It
Doesn't
means
sound
they
like it.
came here first, right? They came here from.
That's not what indigenous means. Oh man, that's like me as an immigrant coming in and being like, these are the indigenous whites. Like we're gonna take over their country and make sure that they have no jobs or economic well-being or stability anymore, which is what they perceive as happening anyway. But like, you're not indigenous. You know what I mean?
Asia by way of land bridge. Have an argument with Neil deGrasse Tyson or anybody else about that. I don't care.
Is he in America?
I genuinely don't care. Yes, he is.
Okay, just
So
checking.
my point is, okay.
Nothing to do with crime. So far, you've agreed with me that these
Because
people
you're
are criminals.
derailing, dude. I'm trying
You
to stay
literally
on track.
sat down and asked me where I'm from. I think you
I
derailed this
think you got
conversation from the
offended
get-go.
by that, but because
I'm not
I'm always
offended. I'm
curious.
just wondering what it has to do with
I'm
crime.
always curious.
We're going to talk about
why-
immigration. Don't worry. Later on, you can come back.
I hope so.
Right
He is filibustering though. He's not letting guy talk.
now, you're doing a very bad job of making the case that he's not pro-crime.
I just
and
got a
pro-criminal.
round of applause. I could probably get another one actually if I asked for it.
Wow.
So I don't think I'm
is
doing
this how
this
you
bad.
get rounds of applause? You sit in a room with 20 people who agree with you. Wow, amazing. Amazing. That
Well,
must
wait
make you
till
feel
this
good.
comes out. You know what? I'm
20
actually
people
glad
agree
you're
with
getting
you,
this
applauded you.
emotionally outraged right
Wow.
now. This is great.
I love it.
Do I have to say anything at this point, or are you just going to
Please.
keep going?
Please,
Okay.
make your claim.
Well, my claim is that I don't care if it's pro-crime. You want
Okay,
to go back to the topic of conversation?
that's fine. We agree then. He's pro-crime.
But
and
I
you
have
don't
a
care.
question for you, though. Do you care on the opposite side of the spectrum?
Yes.
Do you care about law being administered
Yes.
to the opposite side of the
Yes,
spectrum?
I think
when they're
anyone
doing
who
the same?
assaults a police officer shouldn't be pardoned. I think that Donald Trump shouldn't have pardoned 9 Republican members of Congress who were convicted of crimes, and I don't think Joe Biden should commit.
I don't
think
think you
Democrats should
understand.
pardon Democrats.
Fair, but I don't
We
think
both
you
agree.
understand where we are in the U.S. then.
I think I do.
No, because you're
I think I do
arguing
this
for
for a
a
living.
position of like a U.S. that doesn't exist anymore.
What do you mean where we're at in the U.S.? Like, I feel like this guy is just... I get it, right? The U.S. is like what... it's a white country or whatever, and it's becoming pretty brown. Like, white people are projected to be like a minority in however long, right? I understand. But this guy is acting like we're coming in here, right? Brown people like myself are coming in here, breaking down his door, assaulting his mother and taking all his belongings and leaving. We're not doing that. You did that. You did that for centuries. We're coming in here legally, following your rules for the most part, right? And doing well in the world. You did that, buddy. Look in the mirror. This guy's fucking... He's Ed, bro. He's special.
We're headed towards
some nihilism. No laws, nothing matters.
It's not about
Everyone's pro-crime.
It's not about that. It's like,
No, to him, it's about if you're white, white is right, right? If it ain't white, it ain't right. That's what they say. That's what his thing is. If he's white, pardon him. If he's a white Republican, let him go. If Black Lives Matter, hang him. That's his whole thing.
That's
conservatives
convenient.
listen.
Same crime, same action, but different background.
Conservatives for
Different
too long have been
result.
playing it safe. They've been playing by the
Really?
law. They've been
They've
playing
been
it
playing by the law?
Yes, they have.
Maybe
We're
you missed the Bush presidency.
conservatives
Did
are
you live
so
here during the Bush
concerned-
years?
Conservatives are
Didn't
so
play by the
concerned.
law, George W.
Let me
Bush, nor did
finish.
Ronald Reagan.
Let's be respectful to you. Let me
I'm
finish.
not sure you've been that respectful, but okay.
I'm trying to bring it back, so let's both bring it back.
That's
Okay.
good.
I'm conservative. Okay.
Really?
Let me tell you this. We do play it too safe. We've been playing it by the book for too long. At this point, gloves are off, right? The left has made their point. They're willing
Are
to
the
do...
police force in Washington the left?
Yes!
Why are they
Are you
assaulting?
kidding me? The left? Are you
Police
insane?
officers.
I mean, look, I understand because that's the way I've felt about the right pretty much my whole life. It's like, every institution, member of the institution is a Republican and they're against me because I'm not white. That's how I felt. That's how this guy feels because he is white. It's kind of funny, right? Like it's two sides of the same coin. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's just an interesting world we live in.
Hey, look at LA right here. You think those stand down?
Like if you ask me, are cops Republican or Democrat? I'm gonna tell you they're fucking Republican, right? They're gonna arrest me and charge me with way worse shit because of this than they would this guy. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But he's sitting here saying the opposite. It's just funny. It's funny.
Those stand
You
down?
think the LAPD are a bunch of liberal Marxists?
No, but I
Really?
think they listen to...
And I don't know, like how it's important to me to honestly understand where he's coming from. Like, why do you think that as a white person? What is it that's making you feel like you are being treated unfairly by the system? Because I have the complete other opposite perception. I think most people do, right? So I don't know where he's. I just want to know.
liberal Marxists who tell them what to do. I think they listen to who signs their paychecks at the
Can
end
I
of the
just
day.
check,
who are
because you're
liberal
doing
Marxists.
lots of little diversions. We both agree Donald Trump's pro-crime, you're just fine with it.
No,
Is
I
that the position?
don't
That's what you
agree
said
with
so
you.
far
I
for
don't
about
agree with your
5 minutes.
I don't agree agree with your definition
What's
of
your
crime.
definition of crime?
It doesn't
Stomping
matter.
on a police officer's head is not a crime. That's
no,
your
what I'm
definition
saying-
of crime as the
He keeps getting
Native
there.
American.
I am Native American.
If you
Okay.
say so.
So, going back to the topic at hand, we have different definitions of crime because you're
That's
talking about.
convenient. There's
It's
a
not
criminal
about-
code
it's
in
not
this
about
country.
what's
It's called the
convenient.
U.S.
There is a criminal code. I agree. There's no interpreting criminal code. If someone commits a crime, hit them with the book. It doesn't matter if they're black, Black Lives Matter, Free Palestine, LGBTQ, MAGA, doesn't matter. Throw them in jail.
Criminal code.
You know what? Let's focus
That's
on
what
what we
everyone
agree on.
focuses
I'm
on.
sure you and I actually agree on a
Do
lot
we
more
agree
than
that
yours.
people shouldn't stomp on police officers' heads? Can we agree on that? If
I'm
you don't
not-
agree on that, then I really think this conversation is kind of
No,
pointless.
because first of all, you're saying what? That the police have the authority, that they're given the authority. I don't accept the authority that's been
it's a
given by
very
liberal
conservative
Mark.
position.
I'm
I'm a conservative and pro-police.
If you don't accept the authority, then you need to go, bro. Doesn't matter how deep in your deep your lineage is in the country. If you don't accept the authority and the institutions of this country, whether you agree with them or not, you're not ready to fight them in a legal manner, then you should go to Venezuela or somewhere else where they just do shit by rule of frontier justice, right? And they have the cartel running shit. They cut your hands off if you steal from them. You know what I mean? That's where you should go then. This country has laws. That's why a lot of people come here. This is the first world, buddy. We follow, there are systems in place that keep us peaceful and safe. And yes, sometimes they might not be favorable in all circumstances, but you're going to abide by these fucking laws and the way this system works. It's order. If you want chaos, go somewhere else, anywhere else, right? El Salvador has plenty of that. I mean, I think they're doing better now, right? But take off. Just because you're white doesn't mean you have to live here.
You don't
we
know what a
redefine-
real. Hey, listen,
so
you're
we
in a room
redefine
with
crime.
juggernauts right now.
We
Okay,
redefine
I'm telling you right
conservative.
now.
Why do you think people come to the first world, right? It's a developed system where you can be safe, you can live a better life. You can work hard and you're going to move up. There's less corruption, there's less everything that's negative that's in the third world and developing world, which by the way is underdeveloped because of the global West, because they went in and took everything from these areas, extracted all the resources, left them in poverty, and left them behind during an industrial revolution, where they were able to get a huge head start, and these countries were left, like India, countries in Africa were left with nothing after colonization, right? And had to restart. That's why people come here. So, I mean, you know what I mean? Like, I hope this guy, I get this guy's perspective as like a Native American, as he says. I understand what he's saying when he calls himself a Native American. I do get it. But him as a Native American and me as an immigrant American, even though I was born here, like, I hope he would understand my perspective. Like, you come here, I come here, I don't break the law. Like, yeah, I did some drugs in college and shit, right? But I'm not like I'm not. And obviously, if I would have gotten caught for that, I would have taken whatever I got. It wouldn't have been complaining because, I knew what I was doing. But, you're here. Like, you got to respect this shit. Like, that's not, it doesn't make a difference that you're Native American. The laws are the laws.
You are going to be blown open if you think.
And the system is the system. There's. I'm not saying it's fair. I'm not saying it's the best thing out there. But you can't. It's order over chaos all day, man. This is not the third world.
Yeah,
My
if we're going to
position
struggle
is
with the
alright.
English language
You
for the
have
next
no
couple of
idea
hours, then yeah,
what
we'll
you're up
struggle.
against right now, okay?
100%.
Yeah. Newsflash: the conservatives are liberal to me. Okay, neocons, libertarians, all those mainstream.
Now I do where this guy's coming from is like, we're losing our cultural identity as a country, as Americans, da 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 da. I get it, right? Because he sees, his parents, his family, he probably has people who serve in the military and shit, and who are way more invested in this country than somebody like me, okay? And he's sitting here like, why is this guy, why does he have a say? And I get that. That would piss me the fuck off if I was him. But unfortunately, there are people like me. Like, I was born here, right? I'm a citizen. I have a stake in this country just as much as he does. And that's where the gap is, right? He doesn't get that. These guys don't get that because they think that, they're American and we're immigrants. But I'm not an immigrant. I was born here, and there are many, many motherfuckers like me, right? And so it doesn't work that way. I'm not going to sit here and be like second fiddle to Buddy, right? That's not how it works, man. Let the merits talk. I probably pull more weight in this country than you, but you're white and your parents are white and they were here for, who gives a fuck? I don't give a fuck. I was born here. It wasn't my choice where I was born. And if you don't pull my same weight, then I don't want to hear your opinion. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck if you were white or your parents were here and your grandparents and your 1500s, five centuries, 5 generations. Doesn't matter to me, bud. Doesn't matter to me, I'm telling you.
People, there might as well be leftists to me, okay? That's how far to the right I am. Do you understand my position? So when you
Which is fine. I appreciate him being direct. I just disagree with him. And I think that a lot of people on the left will try to cancel this guy and like shame him for his opinions, which is annoying. That I find irritating. I disagree with him respectfully, right? And I'm willing to have an intense dialogue about it and disagree maybe vehemently and argue potentially. But, there is a lot of shit on the left where it's like, there's just no room for that. There's no room for dialogue. It's just all about censorship. And I understand the frustration because I feel that too. Even though, like for me, the where I was on the left was like, I was so far right within the left. It's hard to explain, but it's like, I'm basically a right winger that believes in reparations and is progressive in that regard and has like some progressive social values other than that. LGBTQ rights, things like that. I'm progressive on those subjects. So, but there's no place for me in politics. That's why I'm sitting in front of a camera talking to a camera and hoping that 5 people watch my video. Because I can't vote. I can't vote for these fucking idiots. I'm not voting for Republicans or Democrats, right? So, but I mean, at the end of the day, I get what he's saying. He doesn't feel like he has a place. I understand a lot of this guy's, what he's saying.
I guessed it when you
say, about obeying police, why would I give the authority to police? Do you know here in America?
Do you think Donald Trump should be pardoning 9 members of Congress who committed financial crimes? Are you pro-financial crime? Do you pro-financial crime?
All right,
Thomas
pause.
Timbo is?
Pause.
I think the people who clapped you have voted you out.
All right. Head back to your seat. You've been voted out by the majority.
Nice to meet you.
There's a lot of filibustering though. I like him. I'm not gonna lie. I like most liberals. I don't like. I'll be honest. But he seems to be a pretty neutral guy in most in the ways that count. I don't know. Obviously, I've watched 9 minutes of a video about him. But he did just filibust a lot. He did. I don't like that. That's a very political thing to do, and that's not going to help us at all. I'm going to go ahead and skip forward.
He knows more information
right.
than I do.
Pause. That's time. Please return to your seat.
Good to meet you. Yeah, take care.
The Epstein thing is an interesting subject. Obviously, they just got done talking about that, and I can imagine that Mehdi's point was that you're not releasing the Epstein list. You're protecting these pads, right? So that's pro-crime. I get it. Yeah, I wouldn't say he's pro-crime. Obviously, I get where he's coming from. I guess it is more of a defensible stance than I initially thought. There are a couple of things that he can point to, but obviously Donald Trump is not outwardly and policy in a political way. He's not pro-crime, right? He might have done some things that were very objectionable, which I agree with. I don't think presidential pardon should be a thing. He's not a king, man. He's the president. He serves us. I know a lot of people look at it a different way, but the president as a role across the board, Biden, Obama, Trump, fucking Reagan, Bush, whoever, right? Clinton, these guys work for us. We voted them in, right? And they work for us. I know that's not the way it works in practice, but that's the idealistic way. That's the ideal. That's how it should work. That's the whole point. There's bullshit that it doesn't work like that. We have guys running their own shit. Like it's their show. It's not their fucking show. It's our show. It's a fucking democracy. It's my show. It's the Ravi Muley show, buddy. It's fucking my neighbor's show. It's our show. It's not his show.
Surrounded is now a podcast, available wherever you listen. Search Surrounded, plug in, and stay part of the conversation. Anywhere.
Nice to meet you, sir. Mehdi, lovely to meet you.
So I would say that with Trump being anti-constitution, I don't really care, to be quite frank.
Okay.
Because
Fair. At least you're not. He is defying the Constitution in a lot of ways, I feel. I don't think that it's like. Probably every president does something in that way, but
in regards to the Constitution is a document that should seek to serve us. Yes. And when it fails to seek to serve us, that can be amended. Laws can be changed. And quite frankly, the fact is...
So do that. What if a Democrat came into office? Again, I don't know what he's trying to say, why Trump defies the Constitution. What if a Democrat came into office and was like, guns are illegal now, guys. Fuck the Constitution, right? By the way, I'm purchasing a firearm, so I'm pro Second Amendment. I just want to make myself clear. But let's say, I'm here in Texas. Shouldn't put that on the internet, huh? Whatever. But I'm not, you know what I mean? I need that self-defense. I'm not gonna let people stalk me and shit. Or, for the right, it seems like the reason they want to own firearms is because they want to be ready to take over against a tyrannical government. For the most part, I don't have that worry, right? I grew up with a tyrann. I'm brown. Okay, I'm brown. I mean, everybody I know, my entire family, the entire lineage has grown up under tyranny, and I'm accustomed to it. I'm trying to, we play by the rules where I'm from. Where what we do for the most part, we're honorable people, and we don't fuck with the law.
We're defending things in this country that shouldn't be defended. The First Amendment should not defend pornography and making children and women be victimized. Making women and children be victimized.
Wow, agreed. This is when I feel emboldened by the right. I'm not gonna lie. When people say things like this, I'm like, hell yeah.
Victimized as a result of that. I think things like blasphemy shouldn't be allowed per the First Amendment. I think that, quite frankly,
you're crazy, bro. Blasphemy. I mean, you can't say that. Not everybody shares the same religion. And people can run their mouth. Like, what do you mean? If somebody says, like, F G-O-D, like, now you got to go to jail? Come on, bro. You can't do that.
there are a lot of legal processes that are enabling criminals and bad people to fully enact their will in this country in the name of the Constitution or following the Constitution. So, quite frankly...
Yeah, but you can do that no matter what. You can rationalize anything, right? Think about it. If pornography is regarded as free speech... Is that really even speech? Like, that's a whole different thing. But it shouldn't be legal. I think it needs to be banned. Personally, it's ruined many a life.
Trump is anti-constitution, good, and I think he should go further.
So this is wonderfully revealing of the modern conservative mindset. So I appreciate you spelling it out so openly. Just checking.
Yeah, but don't do that. Don't have this attitude. I respect that he shared his opinion, right? This is that gotcha attitude. Gotcha, you don't care about the Constitution.
Do you support the Second Amendment?
I do.
Okay, surprise. I was shocked to hear that. I'm saying that Donald Trump is defying the First Amendment, the Fourth Amendment, the Fifth Amendment, the 14th Amendment. He's thinking of defying the 12th and 22nd Amendments. You're saying you don't care about the Constitution, but actually you do because you quite like the Second Amendment. You just don't like the bits that you disagree with. Can I just be clear on that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
I'm more than willing to amend it and
whenever it's in your favor.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So can Democrats do the same when they're in office?
No, absolutely not.
So you don't believe in democracy?
No, I don't. Absolutely not.
That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. You just lost my favor.
What do you believe in?
Autocracy.
By who?
Honestly, quite frankly, anyone who is in line with Catholic teaching.
Donald Trump is not Catholic.
Of course, he's not. I completely agree,
so
and that's
you
part of
support
the problem.
Trump? You don't support Trump?
No, I don't. I didn't even vote for him. I wrote in like John Pork or someone.
Why
I
did
didn't
you
even remember.
You don't believe in democracy?
Look, I respect the hell out of this guy, though. The fact that he's just saying it and like, good, bro, good. I respect that. Thank you. And you should have a vote. And we should be able to vote for a bunch of different people, not one of two people. And you should be able to vote for your Catholic guy. And he'll probably lose, but it's fine. At least you got one, right?
You want autocracy?
Well, because quite frankly...
Just like I should be able to vote for a Telugu guy. And you know what I'm saying? Like, we should be able to do that. We should have way more factions than two, because there are way more ideologies and permutations of platforms than two. It's ridiculous.
I voted... I kind of voted just to...
I came with this argument, but I'm bored of my own argument. I'm much more interested in this. So
yeah, absolutely.
How do we get to an autocracy?
I think, quite frankly, that if we are able to enact local leaders...
Who is the we, by the way?
I think, quite frankly, these far-right conservatives sitting right around.
White people?
Yeah,
No
absolutely.
So,
well, actually, I have quite...
Some of the people in this room don't make the cut from what I can see visually.
Actually,
okay.
Hold on for a moment. I do think that there are people who happen to not be white who do actually have history in this country and have roots in this country. For instance, from the Mexican-American War, we subsumed a lot of territory of people who have far stakes in this country who happen to be Hispanic or what have you.
Okay.
I'm for defending the traditional demographics of this country, which is...
Actually, I have quite... Some of the people in this room don't make the cut from what I can see visually.
Actually, hold on for a moment. I do think that there are people who happen to not be white who do actually have history in this country and have roots in this country. For instance, from the Mexican-American War, we subsumed a lot of territory of people who have far stakes in the...
So here's the thing. I understand, okay? I understand. if I was an Indian person that lived in India and I was fully Indian and not an Indian American person, I would probably feel the same way about people immigrating to India. I'd be like, what the hell are these people doing here? We just, we have a whole history. We just got freedom from the British. We have history before that. We're trying to return to greatness, da da da. And now we have a bunch of XYZ colored people coming in here and trying to like act like they know shit. They run shit. Get the fuck out. Like that's how I get it. So I totally get what this guy's talking about. But that being said, me as a son of immigrants that was born here, I do have a stake in this country. I have to. I live here. I was born here. I grew up here. The institutions that raised me are American. I went to American high schools, American colleges, right? College. I have several degrees and several, everything, trainings. I have experience at many different American institutions. The success of America is pivotal to my success. If America's not succeeding, I'm fucked too, right? So I have a stake here. The thing that these guys don't seem to understand is that we also have a stake here. Just because you have a lineage here doesn't make you any more, or I mean, I guess, it does make you more American, right? But it doesn't make you like any less or more detrimentally reliant on America's success, right? I am as reliant on this country as you are. I live in this society. I understand the values of supporting a society and being a functioning member of society, pulling weight, helping everybody around me so that they can help me. That's how society works. We specialize. I'm in a job field, right? I'm in a field. I don't fucking hunt and gather and fix my own car and do my own plumbing. I don't. We have people doing that. That's the value of a society. People do that. I can make money doing what I do by providing value to society, and they get my money to do things to provide value for me. And so when I'm a part of that, and we have people saying this, this type of shit, we're like, well, they shouldn't be here. It's like, dude, fuck you. Do you pull weight? Let's worry about that, right? You're talking about what your grandparents did. They're gone, buddy. Your great-grandparents. They're not even here. Why? You didn't do that. They did that, right? Like, come on.
This country who happen to be Hispanic or what have you. Okay. I'm for defending the traditional demographics of this country, which is majority white, and should stay that.
Fair. If you believe that, I'm glad you're saying that. And we can work with that. If that's what most people think, look, man, if I was in office, if most people said that, white people, this is a white country, this is how white, it's a democracy. At the end of the day, whatever, majority rules. If that's what you guys want, then we got to limit immigration, right? That's what it is. I'm here now, so it's too late for me, but I ain't going nowhere. I hope you understand that. But, we can talk about it.
United States, we've gone so off topic, but how does the United States look like under you? Sorry, what's your name?
My name is, my name's Connor. It's a pleasure to meet you.
Took a little bit of a doubt there.
Oh, well, I use a pseudonym online, fair enough.
How would Connor's America look? What would it look like?
Well, quite frankly, I think we would deport people who shouldn't be here.
No, I didn't ask about deported. What does the government look like?
What's the government look like?
Yeah.
I would say, quite frankly, it's under a sort of benevolent leader, such as
Where does he come
Franco. It could be a kind of aristocratic class. Could be someone
who picks the.
Frankly, the people. I mean,
my dog is geeking right now. Hey, Brody, can you stop, buddy? Brody, come here. Relax. Stop making noises, please.
We could hold a vote on it. Kings were
Isn't that democracy?
Well, sure. You can have a vote to get to that state.
And then no more votes afterwards?
Absolutely.
Wow.
100%.
Wow. And if that autocrat kills you and your family, you're fine with that?
Well, I'm not going to be a part of the group that he kills, because that's the whole thing.
How do you know? Autocrats tend to kill everyone.
Carl Schmitt makes this point very well in his work. It's the friend-enemy distinction, right?
Carl Schmitt, the Nazi theoretician?
Yeah, absolutely. I don't care.
Are you a fan of the Nazis?
I frankly don't care being called a Nazi at all.
I didn't say that. I didn't actually say that. I said, are you a fan of the Nazis?
Well, they persecuted the church a little bit. I'm not a fan of that. But
what about the persecution of the Jews?
Well, I mean, I certainly don't support anyone's human dignity being assaulted. I'm a Catholic.
But you don't condemn Nazi persecution of the Jews?
I think that there was a little bit of persecution and stuff like that, which is bad.
The show because you're
a little bit. I mean, hey, look, he's stating his opinions, man. It is. I think that's crazy, right? What he's saying, but it's not for me to determine whether it's crazy or not. I personally think it's crazy.
A little bit more than a far-right Republican.
Hey, what can I say?
I think you can say I'm a fascist.
Yeah, I am. Absolutely.
I'm just checking who's clapping, just to get my set of where everyone
Because
is on this. Because you know that millions of people are going to be watching you on YouTube and checking out who the fascists and the Nazis are.
I'm not ashamed of that whatsoever.
No, clearly you're not.
During the
Clearly you're not.
during the pre-war period, prior to World War II, it was only those parties that properly.
Man, look, I mean, at the end of the day, this guy, that's fine, right? That's fine. But in a world where, you know, look, Eastern religions, like I'm a Hindu, right? Or I was raised Hindu. I'm kind of like an agnostic believer at this point, that's what I would say. But Eastern religions don't condone violence in any way, right? They're very pacifist. So colonization was only possible by Christians in the global West, Muslims, you know, these types of Abrahamic religions which promote conquest, proselytization, and, you know, some even slaughtering infidels, right? So in a different world, because before colonization, India was 26% of the world's GDP, probably the most powerful region in the world. In that world, right, and the Chinese invented gunpowder, yada yada. In that world, if they were to have committed conquest first, and white people are now 8% of the global population, you would not be saying that, right? Because autocracy would mean you were the one that was going to be fucked. You know what I'm saying? But thankfully for you, we're nonviolent, and your religions are violent. So because of that, not saying that, you know, religion, I'm just saying that's kind of like, right, whatever politically you can say without losing employment over this type of stuff. That is, you gotta keep that in mind when you're, you know, I mean, if he's, as long as he's not gonna be hypocritical, like, you know, if that ever were to come to fruition, then, you know, you'd have to be ready for that. I don't think that any religion or any race should be autocratic in this way, because obviously that's based on like racial and religious background.
Enacted the people's will. That's why they won. The conservatives were fat cats.
Are you in favor of killing people who aren't like you?
Quite frankly, I'm not.
You mentioned Franco earlier. Franco killed a lot of innocent people.
Oh, well, he killed communists. He killed people who raped nuns and killed priests.
What about children who he killed and women who he killed?
What are you talking about? He never killed any women or children. He was Catholic.
He only killed combatants. Is that what you're claiming?
Yeah, he only killed combatants.
Never killed any innocent people.
The White Terror was only punishing those people who did acts of terrorism. And again, are you supporting like raping?
That's what the right always says. That's insane. That's just not true. Whenever acts of political violence are committed and like these genocidal acts are committed, it's like, oh, they're all Hamas. Are they? You're bombing random buildings, dude. Are they all Hamas? Really?
Innocent women, nuns, dude. Killing priests? I mean, priests don't brandish guns and kill people.
You just refuse to condemn the Nazi Holocaust, my friend. I don't think you're in a position to ask anyone any questions.
I quite frankly don't care what you think about me. If I'm a Nazi and being a Nazi,
is mutual,
if being a Nazi means upholding human dignity, because I even believe in your dignity. I don't. In a state that I was running, I wouldn't want to hurt you or anything like that. But quite frankly,
I don't debate fascists.
Okay.
You're a pussy. So you're a complete pussy. You don't debate fascists. You're not willing to tolerate and argue. So that means you're a pussy, bro. You have nothing to talk about then. You have no leg to stand on against a guy who's willing to share his beliefs. I don't respect that. I don't respect that he just said that.
So do you concede then? I mean, why?
Do I concede you're a fascist who won't condemn the Nazis?
Yeah.
Yes, I concede.
Okay, great. So I mean, what are we doing here? Because I mean, you just seem offended.
You're doing here,
you just seem offended, to be quite frankly. Like
I'm offended by people who can't condemn the Nazis. Yes.
So you're a pussy, bro. You have no place in the political world. If you're offended by anything, listen, man, people have ideas. You have to be willing to talk about them. You have to be willing to discuss them and engage with them. If you're going to shut down like this is an attack on free speech. I know that sounds crazy, right? Because it's like, oh, well, you know, he just doesn't want to talk to him. He doesn't have to talk to him. Sure, by the law, what he's doing is not an attack on free speech. But morally, it's an attack on free speech. He's like, I won't talk to you. I'm not going to. No, I'm too good for this. Fuck you, dude.
Okay. Well, I condemn the evils that they did, but I don't really care about being. Yeah, sure. I don't care about being called a Nazi. Sure. Is the whole thing.
I never called you a Nazi.
I care about doing the right thing.
Now he's got to qualify himself. Look, I'm not saying I agree with him. Obviously, the Holocaust was terrible, right? The Holocaust was terrible. Like, of course. Inarguably. But him having to qualify his statements because this guy got offended, that's what holds us back. That's what holds us back.
A fascist and a General Franco
Well,
supporter.
yeah, I am a General Franco supporter. He was awesome. He was so super cool, quite frankly. Because the whole
And
thing.
you don't believe in democracy.
I don't believe in
What
democracy.
are you doing here at a televised debate?
Because,
This is democracy.
That's where I disagree with him vehemently, Connor. If you don't agree with democracy, then I don't think that you're in the right place, bud. But hey, look, if democratically we want to elect an autocracy and that's what people want, who am I to say that's not the right way?
Because it is the means to support an end. The reason we have free speech now is because we want to be openly talking about our opinions so we can get the state that we want. But it doesn't mean upholding free speech
Facts. That was well said.
after we win. Again, I mentioned
The only good thing about this fascist moment
the
we're
whole
in
reason-
is that you guys are so open about it.
The
It's
whole
great.
reason I
Say the
mentioned
quiet part loud. Keep saying it.
reason I mentioned Carl Schmitt earlier, he kind of blew past him, is the friend-enemy distinction.
past him because of the Nazi.
Even liberals, when they take power, they want to enact policies and they want to enact protections for their people and their ideas, and they're willing to punish their enemy. And so I'm the same way. I'm like, hey, if you're going to punish me, I'm going to get in power, and I'm going to frankly punish
Fair.
you when you try to leverage power again.
Fair enough. You know, in my last political video reaction I did, we talked about global hegemony, the United States. That friend-enemy distinction is important in that regard as well. Because if the United States and these democratic countries like the UK, the global West in general, aren't in control and have world dominance economically and militaristically, then we are at risk of tyranny taking over, right? I don't think communism's a terrible idea. I think the tyrannical nature of the what the East has been in the past. I'm not even saying now, but you know, I think we all agree Putin doesn't exactly have fair elections over there, right? So if that's what's going to take over, it's better us than them, right? It's better us in control than them. So that's why I don't support our foreign policy, but look, if it's I understand it's defensible. It's defensible. At the end of the day, the fact that we use Israel as a proxy in the Middle East to control the Middle East and control the region, defensible. I think it's terrible. Obviously, it's a genocide. It needs to stop. But I understand why they're doing it. It's obviously not senseless.
It's me. Just that simple.
Fair enough. All right, I'm going to move on. I actually kind of like that guy's points. I've liked all the right-wingers so far. I like Mehdi too, but I don't like how he's doing that typical left-wing shit where he's like, I'm not going to talk to you, you're a fascist.
And Straight Arrow News for partnering with us on this episode. Now, let's get into it.
My next claim is that immigrants overall are good for America.
It depends. I think they're bad, to be honest. Immigration is not good for the country overall.
Hi, how are you?
Hello, nice to meet you,
Mehdi.
Daniela. So in regards to your claim, I just want to start by asking this: do you care more about helping Americans or immigrants in this claim?
Immigrants are Americans. I'm an immigrant and an American.
Well, immigrants are not Americans. Americans are the people that were born here.
That's not true. Where'd you
Are you
get,
talking
what's the
about
basis of
people-
your claim for
Are you
that?
talking about people that get naturalized and then possibly
Yes.
become American?
So she's talking about her race, racial Americans, like the amalgamation of Europeans that came here and settled here and intermixed. That's what she's talking about. So this is a racial argument that she's making. But that being said, I do think that like if you look at a country as a whole, most countries historically, most civilizations are racially homogenous. So when you think about it that way, there is like an ethnic background to a country. And when that starts to get diluted, the culture goes with it. It's not great. And then also economically, immigration is good for the corporations that hire the immigrants, right? Or if they're illegal, and the businesses that use the illegal labor. And it's good for the immigrants. It's not good for the native population, right? There are jobs that I've wanted that people from India or people from different countries who don't even speak English fully, right? They have accents and whatnot, which is not bad, right? But they have these jobs, right? I'm competing with them as a person who's they say Native American. I'm not obviously that, but like whatever I am, I was born here, right? I'm a natural born citizen. That's not good for me, right? And that's not good for everybody else that was born here. I'm not saying that that's not the way it should be. I welcome the competition. I think that it's great, and I like working alongside people who are, from different countries and stuff. But it is at the end of the day, on a large scale, it's bad for the native population here.
Okay.
14th Amendment. Have you read it?
Okay. Yes, I have.
It would be better if we got these jobs, we worked our way through these things,
Social clause.
Now, obviously, there's the argument that the top talent comes in, it helps helps development, it helps exchange of ideas and exchange of information. There's that, but overall, is that going to trump the fact that there are citizens who are born here, people from here, who are not able to get jobs and they're literally worse off financially? I don't know. I don't think you can beat that.
Any persons born or naturalized in the United States are citizens of the United States.
I'm aware of that.
There's about 40 to 50 million naturalized
I'm
Americans
aware
in
of
this
that.
country.
Yes, but
You didn't seem aware of it because you said Americans versus immigrants.
So, but are you understanding that the process of getting all these immigrants that come in here we've been also, the millions of immigrants, it's up to the millions, it's the last 20 years now, and it has dramatically affected Americans here in the country, which
Positively, I would argue.
people like me and everyone around here, we cannot find homes or even get jobs within our own fields that we go to college for, that we get into debt for. And because more blue-collar work, especially construction, agriculture and so forth, and the hospitality industry, we cannot get jobs in those fields. So it would...
Now, on the same token, like, there's a stereotype, right? Like, if you go to college, you're in a frat, you played beer pong. Brody, relax, please. If you played beer pong for 4 years in college, and now you want to compete with a guy who was fucking starving, coming out of like IIT in India, and all that dude did was code for fucking 10 years of his life, coding. He's a mastermind, right? And now you want to, oh well, I can't get a job. I just got done getting thraxed by Danny, Chad, and Cody and fucking Zeta Tau, right? This is not even a fucking real frat, but whatever, right? Maybe it is, actually. I don't fucking know. But, I just spent 4 years, in doggy on all fours and drinking beer. Why don't I have a job? Shut up, bitch. Shut the fuck up. Go work at McDonald's where you belong. I hate that. That's just laziness and entitlement, right?
Looking for a job in construction?
I'm not, no. I went to college. Many people here...
Oh, wow, she went to college. Guys, she went to college. Wow. What a hero.
In college or went to college, but we can't even find jobs in our fields, also because of the H-1B visa program as well. But in regards to just your claim about immigrants specifically...
The thing, and it's hypocritical because these people are all super capitalist and like pro-capitalism, but when the capitalists go and get the better talent from outside the country, doggy style didn't get me a job. Shut up. Fuck.
We couldn't even get jobs to pay for housing.
She doesn't know what the fuck she's talking about. I'm gonna move on. I don't have, look, see, that's the thing though. I see both arguments, but like, the entitlement hypocrisy is what bugs me.
Voted out by the majority, please return to your
Nice
seat.
to meet you.
Nice to meet you, thank you.
Hey, how's it going? I'm Mehdi.
What's going on, man? Nice to meet you. All right, so first, before I start, I need to know what you mean by good. I can talk about the economy, I can talk about culture, I can talk
Great.
about all those things. I need
All
to
of
know
them.
what you mean.
All of them.
All of them.
I'm saying immigrants are good for the economy. They're good for
think lower
culture.
wages are
They're
good for
good
the
for
economy?
society. Where's the lower wages?
What do you mean, where's the lower wages?
Where's the lower wages?
Yeah, so you can
What's the
look at
basis for saying no lower wages?
Sure, so you can look at like the STEM industry. It's been in like a complete and total recession. There's been tons of studies like from the Economic Policy Institute that shows that like companies like Tesla, companies from like Silicon Valley, they engaged in mass firing of workers, around 35,000, but then they hired around 12,000 H-1B visas, and it's kind of just standard economic thinking. If you
It's not standard economic. The vast majority of economists.
So, but the thing is, I do agree with him. I understand what he's saying, but the thing that he's not gonna talk about most likely, and we'll listen to the guy, we'll hear him out, is that if you ban immigration, right? If you reduce immigration heavily enough that these companies are forced to hire American labor, they might just offshore. They might just go over to India and build an office over there. And bro, those people are starving, bro. They don't give a fuck about nothing. They're coding all day. They're working 10 to fucking 11, 10 a.m. to motherfucking, they're working 6 a.m. to whatever the fuck. Like 6 a.m. the next day, damn near. Like, these people are starving, bro. They're coming out the mud. There's a billion of these motherfuckers. They're poor. And the only way out they know, they don't rap or play basketball. They study. You understand? That's who you're competing against. You really think that Elon Musk is going to hire beer pong champ over coding champ? No, he's going to go build an office over there. It'll be cheaper anyway. So we can't win that way. You got to have immigrants come in here. Otherwise, the economy is going to fall apart because all the major corporations will stop hosting business here, or at least host it a lot less.
suggest that there is a negligible, if no impact on wages over time
That's not-
for
that's just-
immigrants.
that's
In fact, your colleague mentioned earlier, construction, there is actually evidence in construction, yes. But in some industries, in some areas, there is an impact. But overall, no. In fact, a study from the National Bureau of Economic Research found that migrants since 1965 have raised wages
Who's that
and
by?
raised innovation.
Who's that by?
National Bureau for Economic Research.
No, hold on. That's where you publish studies. I'm asking
Yes,
for
I
the
didn't
author.
memorize the names of the authors.
Yeah, I know you didn't. Right?
Can you
It's
give
from-
me the authors you've got?
Yeah, hold on. The study you're talking about is from Giovanni Perry, and what he did is he didn't account for aggregation issues, nor did
The
he.
vast majority of
Hold on,
studies.
let me speak,
Please.
Yeah, thank you. Right. So listen, he didn't account for aggregation issues, right? And when you look at like these spatial approaches, what all these economists use, you're not accounting for the fact that when immigrants come into an area, natives leave. If you look at an occupational approach, where you look at the specific firms that immigration is going into, like Kim ETAL 2013 did. You find a net negative impact when there's a 10% increase of immigration. You find around a 0.5% decline in wages when it comes to the specific occupations they're going to.
So
all your studies are flawed.
And honestly, what he's saying is economically sound. Why do you think they're hiring immigrants? Because they can pay them less or get more work for the same amount of money, right? Better work, whatever it might be. You are getting a good deal, and that's why these corporations hire immigrants. They're not just randomly choosing to hire. These guys are mostly white billionaires, bro. Why do you think they're hiring people from Nigeria and India and China? Because they want to? Because they're racist towards white people? No, there's an economic advantage. All right, my dog just threw up. Okay, I had to restart the camera. But look, man. Yeah, I mean, listen. Economically, what he's saying is also sound. Is the point? Like, these guys, these white billionaires are not hiring Nigerian immigrants because they, they're racist towards white people. That's not what's happening, right? These guys are, it's a good deal. So yes, it does actually. But what do you do about it? It does. I do agree that it harms the native population of the country when immigration comes in. And it helps the corporations. I mean, it might, in downstream ways, help the native population by bringing business and helping the economy overall. But I think on an individual level, most people feel a negative impact from that, right? And it's easy to make that association. The thing is, how do you fix that, though? Because we live in a capitalist country. If you reduce immigration, they will just take business elsewhere. Because they're going to go find the cheapest labor. Dog, Nike has like, most of Nike's consumers are in the global West, okay? And they have sweatshops in the global East. You just got to think about it. Like, it's just never going to be... Nike wouldn't be able to be Nike if they were all ESG friendly and like super, you know what I mean? They wouldn't be that. There wouldn't be the incentive to be a good product because they would have to pay so much and their margins would be razor thin. You know what I mean? So that we wouldn't have that great product if it weren't for the fact that there is cheap labor somewhere else that we don't, out of sight, out of mind for us, right? It's now, I mean, it's tough. It's tough to say there's no real solution to this.
So 0.5%, weigh that up against what I just mentioned from the Congressional Budget Office, which is a massive boost in GDP per head, which you're not counting for, massive increase in tax revenue, immigrants actually funding the deficits and debts by paying way more in taxes proportionally to the undocumented immigrants. And what's interesting about wages is, I'm in a room full of, I don't know what to call you anymore, conservatives, Republicans, fascists, I don't know. One of you proudly said that. One of us proudly, correct. I'm in a room full of correct people, but do any of you actually care about wages? Because,
I actually do,
For example,
right?
do you support raising the minimum wage?
Absolutely. You can't do that when you're bringing all these people coming into
That's
our
not the
country.
reason the
Yes,
Republican
it
Party
is.
blocks the minimum wage. You think Republican politicians don't vote for an increase in minimum wage because they're worried about immigration.
Did I
We
say
have
I voted
not had an
Republican?
increase.
Did I say I voted Republican?
Well, I'm in a show that was called 25 Far-Right Republicans.
That doesn't mean I'm going to support every single Republican
Good. So
candidate.
you and I, good. So you and I, let's
support-
agree.
I don't
We
support-
both support raising the minimum wage. Yes,
100%.
$7.25 since 2009. It's lost 30% of its value.
100%.
If you care about wages, we should be raising the minimum wage in this country, not scapegoating migrants who aren't the cause of
Can I
low wages in
respond?
the country. You know who's causing low wages? Billionaires, millionaires,
and
people who won't pay fair wages to their wages, regardless of whether you are an immigrant or a
I
native
get the
born American.
monologue right now. Let me respond.
You had
right?
one. You had one.
No,
with your one study that had a 0.5% impact. Go.
Yeah, and your study sucked that you didn't even know who wrote it, right? So let's get back to the point.
Because,
right?
because I don't need
And
to
there
know
it
one
goes
study.
again. Yeah,
The
let's hear it.
majority of studies say that wages
He
are
does.
not
He does do that. He filibusters. He talks over people. It's not the greatest discourse.
Majority of your studies are flawed. That's what I'm telling
my
you.
studies.
Right.
Neither of us are economists. It's the economist studies.
Don't assume who I am.
Are you an economist?
I could be.
But are you?
I could be.
Are you?
I'm not going to tell you.
Are you?
I'm going to major
Don't assume my gender, right?
in economics. economics,
Are
right?
you an economist?
No, not right now.
Okay, so when I said neither is economist, I was correct.
Just don't assume
to use your favorite word.
See here, dude, this is nothing of substance. You look at the red flags; they're coming up. Let me get
That's
to the point.
great, but
so
you're
when you
not an
talk about
economist.
when you talk about the CBO, one thing you're not accounting for here is that they're assuming an equilibrium, right? Do you know what that means? You shouldn't make these type of assumptions. You said earlier that unemployment
Do I
is
know
like
what it means? I thought we're not doing assumptions.
okay, hold on. You mentioned we were like at 4.2% unemployment. Yeah, that's counting people who have part-time jobs. That's counting
That's how
poverty
it's always
wages.
been counted.
Yeah,
I'm against poverty wages.
you
Can we
won't let
agree
it
again?
Yes, if you go to like the Logood Institute, they calculated a way where it's like functional unemployment. Okay, if you account for things like just people who make around $25,000 a year, people who have fallen out of the labor market, people who only work part time, if you count all of those people together and then add on the unemployment, that's around 25% of the population. So when you go, we don't have.
That is unbelievable. That's a staggering number. And I actually like that definition better, functional unemployment.
Have jobs. We don't have people to do this, and that, and the other. No, yes, we do. Okay.
This guy is well educated on the subject he's discussing, man. I like it. I like it.
We don't have a labor shortage. We have a good job shortage. And when you keep bringing these people in, and they're taking those jobs.
The good job shortage
Yeah, that's how it works. He's right. He's right. That is how it works.
is the fault of big firms, employers. I'm an employer. I can say
hires
that.
the immigrants?
Who hires the immigrants?
Yeah.
Employers.
Exactly. So
But
when
that's not
you
the
bring
core-
up these big firms,
Okay, so
that's the
let
way
me
that
ask
you
you, let
explain
me
to
ask
them.
you a
You
question.
understand that, right?
So let me ask you a question. If you got rid of all immigrants coming in tomorrow, moratorium, you think that Republicans and employers of big firms will suddenly raise all the
You
wages?
notice
That's
how
what
you
you
didn't answer
believe.
what I said. You
That's
notice
what
how
you
it was a
believe.
complete. Your
That's
ankles
what
were
you
right.
believe.
You pivoted the hell
That's what
away
you
from the
believe.
conversation.
Is that what you? I'm on
Your
the
ankles
subject.
okay.
Do you believe that wages? I'm just wondering how naive you are. You believe that the 1% will raise wages in the federal wage
They will
if
be
we stop
forced to.
immigration?
They will be forced to.
great
When you
being
increase
statement.
labor's relationship to capital, okay, and you give labor more bargaining power because you're
But this
tightening
is
the
a very
supply of
simplistic
labor.
understanding of economics because you're
Okay, explain I'm wrong.
I'm telling you how you're wrong.
hear
Because
it.
you're ignoring the fact that when immigrants come into an area, they spend money. They create jobs through
About
their presence.
1/5
Yeah, but so do the natives.
of their
They
monthly income
spend,
leaves the
they
country.
spend, that's a good thing also because you don't like USA foreign aid. So this is the point. They create
Don't
jobs. I
assume
came
that.
into this country. So far, every one of my assumptions about you has been correct. But listen to me. I'm an immigrant. I'm speaking from personal experience.
Get the hell out.
I don't even like. I should get the hell out.
Yes.
Why?
I don't want you here.
Why?
Because you come here and say all this bullshit
Why?
about how Americans are lazy.
Why?
You push your left wing
I never
politics.
said Americans are
I don't
lazy.
know why you say this.
I never said Americans
yes,
are lazy.
you are.
The only person
You're saying
attacking
immigrants
people
have to
is
come
you.
into this
They do say that though.
country so they can do jobs that we don't want to do.
I
That's
never said
exactly
those
what you
words.
said.
When did I say
Oh,
it?
really? You
When did I
didn't
say
say
it?
it?
We're
So why
on
don't we-
YouTube. Guys watching on YouTube, rewind to the time where I said immigrants are doing jobs we don't want to do. When did I say those words? When
You
did they
said-
came out of my mouth?
Okay, so why
I
do we
thought
have to
we're
bring?
doing
Why do we have to bring in
assumptions, my
immigrants?
friend.
Why do we have to bring in immigrants to the
Alright,
country if we have people who are going to do the jobs?
Pause. You've been voted out.
It's nice talking to you.
Nice talking to you.
You're gonna have to go.
Nice talking to you.
Damn, they voted him out for that. I mean, hey,
You're gonna have to go, bro, is what he said as I left to an American citizen. Good to know where you stand on immigration. It's not about immigration, is it? That's what it's not about.
yeah, tough scene. I don't know, but I get where he's coming from. He does have a lot of substantive takes. Anyway, let's go to this one.
I'm an American. To go back to the
Yeah.
core of this show, I support American values.
Well,
one person, one
well,
vote.
it really
free
is.
speech.
It really is.
That last guy. I mean, I respect it, dude. Look, at the end of the day, I'm not gonna sit here and pretend that they don't have a right to feel that way. Like, it's the truth, bro. You're bringing in hyper-competitive immigrants. Yeah, these people are gonna be jobless if it keeps happening. But at the end of the day, how do you fix it? There's really no meaningful way to fix that. There isn't, because you're gonna take a serious economic hit. You're gonna choose cultural identity and preserving American identity over prosperity. You're gonna have to. We live in a capitalist world marketplace. They're gonna leave. They're gonna take their companies elsewhere. It's gonna hurt the country. Just a choice you got to make, through democracy, right?
It's a religious and ethnic
It is
battle.
not
That's what,
a religious battle.
well, yes,
No, it's
that
not.
is what it's
No,
obviously
it's
between
not.
Jews and Muslims.
No,
Both
it's
want
not.
control of the Holy
No,
Land.
it's not.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
What else? What other?
Actually, the founders of Israel were secular. They were not religious, actually. And I think some
Well, there's
religious Jews, like Bezalel Smotrich, who's the Israeli government minister,
religious. It doesn't really
is
matter.
a religious fanatic.
My
but that
point
is
is.
not, the core of the conflict is over land. It's colonial.
That's
It's
fine.
historic. It is
Well,
not.
I agree vehemently with him on this. I don't know what she's arguing, that it's a religious war and we should just, it doesn't mean that. No, I mean, yeah, but like there were people that were living there and they're being displaced so that these white European Jews, I suppose, Jewish people, can come in and settle. I don't know about that.
Yeah, but
religion.
colonialism is for a reason.
The
It is
people who
because
want
they
to steal the
Jews
land
have this-
want want everyone to believe it's
My
religious.
point is, why
No,
are we
I
sitting
don't have any
here?
objections
Why
to
are we sitting here?
Christian
It's like a false dichotomy where we have to argue, like, do Jews get Israel? Do Muslims get Israel? Why are we?
I've never brought up
there,
anyone's religion.
How many of
I
us
didn't
here?
bring up anyone's religion.
How
You
many
did.
of us here are Christians?
I didn't bring up anyone's
trying
religion.
to pick sides between Jews and Muslims taking over Israel. Like, don't you think that
Hold on. First of all, I didn't bring up religion. Second of all, you know that a lot of Palestinians are Christian, right?
some of them?
You're just
yeah,
reducing
it's
it to
very
Muslim
small.
versus
Well,
Jew.
it's majority Muslim. Yeah, it's very.
But there
small
are many
percentage.
prominent
Yeah, I agree.
Palestinians.
Yeah, but there's not
So
that many.
so it's
yeah.
not worth
So
reducing
it
everything
is.
to religion.
Well, it is the reason. Why do you think Iran is backing proxies that want to take over Gaza? Back the terrorism of Gaza. It's obviously because they want to Muslim control of the land. You don't think that's why?
No, I don't think it's about religion.
Is it?
I've been following this conflict for decades. It's not about religion. People who say it's about religion, it's a distraction.
Well,
I don't think it's about religion either. I think it's a colonial effort. It's clear. It doesn't matter. Take the religion out of it and you have a native group being displaced by a colonial power. That's evil.
it's a big part of it, I think.
And if you assign religion to it, that's how you can justify it. By saying 3,000 years ago, dude, yesterday I decided America's my country and everybody has to bow down to me when I walk into Walmart. Like, come on, dog. Actually, it wasn't yesterday. It was 3,000 years ago. It's written here on this piece of paper. Come on, man. You better bow to me when I go to Walmart.
I think it's become a big part of it. It's been weaponized
Or I'm going to bomb you and your Hamas.
by bad faith actors, sure. But I don't think that's
Well,
the core. The core is that one group of people are dominating another group of people.
What group of
It is
people
apartheid.
is it? But what group of people is dominating another group of people?
One ethnic group is dominating
What
another
ethnic group? What ethnic group?
Jewish people,
Yes, dominating.
Arabs.
Yes.
But I didn't say anything about Christian, Muslim, Jew in a religious sense.
Okay,
Jews
what-
defined as religion and ethnicity. You know that, right?
Well, why do you think that Muslims want control of the
I don't-
Holy
you
Land?
keep
Why
saying
do you think?
Muslim.
That is the one thing that's dangerous is when a group is able to, when a race, right, a self-identified race is able to, like, I can't go there.
I don't
It's dangerous.
What do you
up
think?
Muslims.
Well, they're Muslim states. Like, what do you think? Like Iran wants to do with
I
the
didn't bring up
Holy
Iran.
Land? But that's part of the conversation. What do you mean?
No, it's not. The conversation is Donald Trump is doing ethnic cleansing, and you agree
Yeah,
with
but
me.
it's
So I'm not sure why you're
but
still
it's
here,
part
to
of
be
the
honest.
it's part of the larger context
It's a weird
of the
debate when you
conversation.
actually agree with me.
What I was trying to say is we kind of have this false dichotomy here where we're trying to take the side of the Gazans, which mostly it's a Muslim majority, or the side of the
sided human
Jews
beings who are
to
suffering.
try
I sided human beings who
to
are suffering. You
decide
should try
who
it.
gets control over Israel.
I didn't say about control. I
America,
said don't ethnically cleanse.
is a majority Christian country. Should
I
we
said-
be deciding Christians should have control of the
I agree.
Holy
Donald
Land?
Trump should not, nothing to do with religion. Donald Trump should not be deciding what happens to Gaza. That's my claim. If you agree with me,
So you're-
great. Let's
so
shake
are-
hands. Give
wait,
the seat
wait,
to
wait,
someone
so
who
are
dis-
But he is though. Like she's acting as if like we have no stake and we shouldn't help anybody. We're funding Israel, right? All the bombing is on our hands. My tax dollars have been funding Israel for decades.
You're saying, do you think that
Well, no, I haven't been paying taxes that long, but like a decade, right?
America should just cut ties with Israel altogether?
What's your definition of cut ties?
Like stop funding them,
Yes,
stop being their
yes,
military
yes,
arm?
yes,
Okay,
I'm on
great.
record saying
Okay.
That was an easier debate.
Respect. But she's saying it because it's like, oh well, like it doesn't matter if it doesn't matter. Like, it's not my problem if Muslims are getting like bombed. Like, come on, bro. It's a human issue. You know what I mean? I agree that it's not our issue to go everywhere and clean everything up around the world, but we are funding this happening. Like, there's huge distinction between us getting our hands in something or us having our hands in something and saying we need to pull out. That's what we're debating. So she wanted to frame it as if the debate is whether or not we should get involved. Honey, 5% of my fucking salary from last year is over there right now in the form of some sort of atomic nuke or heat-seeking missile that's going to blow up a Palestinian child's legs. Right now. Can I get that money back? I want that 5% back. I want that bomb taken back. Let's sell it, strip it for parts, sell it to like mechanics and shit. Give me my money back. That's what I want. We need to do something about that. Bow down to me in Walmart.
Whoa, welcome back, Richie. You really want to be here?
First of all, I really thought
I want to hear this guy because he's entertaining and he has an interesting perspective. But I think I'm done on this topic because this is a dangerous topic for the employed to speak about.
that
Obviously, I believe in free Palestine.
obviously where we started, where it ended up, there's a lot of aggression. I can see in your eyes there's a level of exhaustion from being here. This is where my empathy comes in. Where it doesn't is, when you have a room full of people.
So while I can agree with you that there are cases that abuse the 14th Amendment, that there are issues of family separation, I'm not going to rip up a constitutional principle that goes back centuries and is backed by 127-year-old Supreme Court precedent because Donald Trump is looking for ways to cut the number of brown and black people in the United States.
If you don't mind me interrupting, this is where I think it's important as well to go back to what we talked about with the Constitution. When we're analyzing, and admittedly, I'm not as interested in the legal argument.
I mean, I hope you realize when people say this, though, it makes someone like me think FWP. You know what I mean? We're not friends, bro. I was born here. I'm a citizen. You're saying that I shouldn't be a citizen because I was born here. 2 citizens, and I'm a citizen. Suck my shit, bro. Now you're trying to. This is where it gets to the point where it's like I understand and I want to respect everybody's opinions, but I'm gonna fight that, and I'm gonna tell you you're a piece of shit, and I'm gonna tell you that I'm better for this country than you are. I'm better for this country than you, Mister. Oh man, I can't do it. Can't do it. I'm gonna get fired if I say what I want to say.
Obviously, many ways to interpret the Constitution.
Yep.
But I don't think, especially among conservatives, that it is positive to use the Constitution to dismantle it. When we analyze the original context, like you were saying, in the late 19th century, our immigration law was absolutely different, including, in respect with the Irish and Chinese immigrants that were coming over. It was absolutely different.
We had open borders, my friend. Some people in this room would hate it. We had open borders for half of American history.
Well, I don't think that's very true.
It's 100% true.
Well, hold on. If you're comparing the open borders, which I don't concede to, but if you're comparing the open borders prior to like 1910 and prior to the Hart-Celler Act, and you look at the amount of immigration and who was coming over,
nice deflection. Amount is irrelevant. We did have an open border.
It is absolutely relevant.
Why?
Because the Constitution, like the founding
So
fathers,
your argument is we had open borders.
I mean, before 1900, the only people that were free to immigrate were white people. You know what I mean? My grandparents were 1800. My great-grandparents were getting taxed at 90% in India, and they couldn't leave. And some of them were getting kidnapped and brought to plantations in the Caribbean by Europeans. So, you know what I mean? It is a completely different. I get it. I mean, it's different. I know what he's saying. It's not the same type of immigration, for sure.
I was about to answer. It's important to analyze the context wherein these laws and parts of the Constitution arise. The original founding fathers said the Constitution was made only for a moral and religious people and is wholly inadequate to the government of any other, which means the people that wrote this document understood that it would not be able to properly...
Super secular people, let's just be clear.
Oh, no, that's not true. They were deists.
A lot of them were super
secular. The majority were deists.
But they were secular. Secular doesn't mean atheist. You know what that means.
I understand that, but deist doesn't mean secular or atheist. It means they believe in a God, but not a God that's particularly
present. I didn't say anything about whether they're deist or theist. I said they're secular.
Okay, but secular
means you separate church and state.
Okay, well, let's talk. We could even talk about that. That's a perfect example.
You're going to run out of your own time making your argument, which you haven't made so far.
I understand, but the separation of church and state is now completely differently understood than originally proposed. Thomas Jefferson, who talks about the wall of separation, which doesn't even exist in the Constitution, understood it in a different way.
Supreme Court precedent, as you well know.
Yeah, sure, but the precedent of the last 100 years, wherein the country has been completely different from its founding, should not overrule the original intent of the people who wrote the document that you and I are both citing. Okay. Which means...
But I'm not locked into what the people who wrote it. We've had amendments to the Constitution. You know that, right?
I understand that.
Okay.
And this is our fundamental disagreement, is that I don't believe...
You think you could read the minds of people in the 1770s?
That's not true.
I'm stuck.
I just believe this country ought to be more like the country we originally had, and I don't think...
That's your opinion. You're entitled to it.
I understand.
You know, this guy is right, though. Those white guys, the founding fathers, Thomas Jefferson, etc., Benjamin Franklin, like these guys were not talking about we, the people, everybody. They were talking about we, the white guys, right? We, the white guys, own slaves, and we, women don't have the right to own property. That's what they meant. Like, let's be real, right? That's what they meant. So I get it, and he's saying we should go back to that, which is fair. If that's what you think, I'm glad you're speaking on it. This guy's cutting him off and being a liberal,
Basis. Well, let me try to see what you believe.
Okay.
If we are voting on these constitutional amendments, if we are interpreting them, and our interpretation becomes absolutely, let's say, a 180 from what the original intent of the authors of that document is, are you in favor of that?
I guess it depends on the issue.
Okay, I would say no matter what...
So, for example, take the Second Amendment, which we kind of danced around. It's not been...
This is a smart guy. This guy right here is smart. I don't agree with him. I think that... I mean, I get it. I get where he's coming from, but I don't like... Obviously, I can't support that because that would mean that I would have to leave. What he's talking about is basically saying, go back. I'm not going to do that at this point. But maybe in terms of policy, it does make sense for everybody to be in their own countries and to kind of grow their own countries. I'm not going to say that's a terrible idea.
Yeah, come up here and there.
Yeah.
You know the debate about the Second Amendment is the fundamental debate is one side says it's unlimited, and the other side says no. What they meant was the militias.
Yeah.
They didn't, and they had muskets. They didn't mean AR-15s, right? So we can have that endless debate, which I really don't care for about that. But to come back to your point about the constitutional principles, the 14th Amendment comes along in the 1860s. So it's pretty old. It's not as old as America.
Yeah.
But it comes along, and it's been around for 150 years. So if you want to get away with
it was around before 150 million Americans.
And I'm saying it was around before the United States was even created. It's part of ancient English common law. If you're born in a place, you're a citizen of that place. Unless you're a child of a foreign diplomat or on a Native American reservation.
English common law did not exist simultaneously as millions of people coming across the border in a year.
Just to get to principles, your argument is numbers change everything. Because we've got so many more people.
Not solely, but absolutely.
Okay.
The demographics of your immigration
That's a fair
absolutely
position.
change.
Can I ask you a question? If you got rid of the 14th Amendment, what would be in its place?
I think a citizenship test would be fantastic.
What age?
I wish.
What age?
I think we could administer it in high school.
To everyone?
Sure.
Or just the immigrants?
No, everybody.
And then if you fail it, do you denaturalize white American native born?
Maybe you can't get a government job.
Denaturalize that dude?
I think there's plenty of benefits that the government offers people that you should not be able to receive.
I'll tell you this.
Fair. It's a literacy exam. I don't disagree with that. That's good, man. You should have to be a basic historically literate, and you should know certain things to be a citizen of this country. I agree with that. I actually agree with that.
Right. This might sound bad.
And I think
You know what? I fuck with this guy. I misinterpreted what his stance was on this. Now that I've heard him, cool.
You don't care for me anyway, so let me say something you might not like.
nobody would pass it.
I'm tired of having idiots run around in this country and vote and have rights too. I don't like it. If you're dumb, you shouldn't. I mean, not that you're dumb, but you should fucking know a thing or two.
Have a high school immigration citizenship test for everyone.
I think people will take citizenship more seriously.
The immigrant kids are going to outperform the white kids, and you might actually end up denaturalizing some of the white kids, and then people here will be really upset.
And well, hold on. And I like to be consistent about this. That's possible. But what I think it would do is it would give everybody a larger sense of the importance of citizenship.
So you would say no one born in this country is
Wow. Dude, I fuck with this guy, man. He's a fucking hero.
no one.
Automatically no. Automatically no.
Wow.
I think we could extend that. You know, people who have a heritage in the country
What
of
are they until they pass the test? Undocumented?
I suppose, yeah. They are not able to receive
get
government
deported?
benefits. They're not able to receive government benefits. They're not able to apply for these jobs
But
that
their
are
parents are
offered.
citizens.
Okay, well, hold on. We're talking here about the way that we would implement it.
Yeah,
What
it's pretty important. If you're trying to get rid of the 14th Amendment, I'm going to ask about the practicalities of it.
And we're not.
Trump's
And
doing
hold
it
on,
right
hold on. And I'm not going to be able to explain it to you in 10 minutes. But what I can explain to you is that right now in this country we have a crisis of people not. Hold on. We're not understanding what citizenship is. The way that you've referred to citizenship makes everybody who hasn't come to the United States an undocumented American citizen until the time they come over here.
That's how a lot of countries are, right? You know that birthright citizenship is operated by multiple democracies around the world. I know Trump lies and says we're the only country that does it. He lies. That's not true. Multiple countries.
Do you think it ought to be that way? Do you think everybody in the world is an undocumented American?
I agree with him. Yeah, that's not how it works, bro. You don't just come here and now you're a citizen, or you know what I mean? That's not how it works.
Hold on. Well,
There's got to be a barrier. Dude, like I always use this example. My family immigrated here legally, bro. They're members of some of the top institutions in this country. Like we're talking about Ivy League schools. My dad worked as a chief architect for Homeland Security for 18 years, right? My mom is a medical professional. She's a doctor for a long time. Like, they earned that. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that, like, look, I have a lot of history with my family. Shit goes on. All families have beef sometimes. But the point is, like, people come here legally and do it the right way and earn it. So why is it that everybody else should just be able to walk in here and fucking pop a kid out and boom? You know what I mean? I don't think it should work like that. But, you know, this guy's stance, I appreciate it a lot, actually. A lot of people on this issue, on his side of the spectrum, I feel like are like, you know, if it ain't white, it ain't right. And that's their whole politics.
Undocumented Canadian or undocumented Brit, right? Or undocumented.
Sure. Well, I'm an American, so I say America. But yeah.
But I'm saying, right, the principle is you immigrate. We have free movement of people. I support free movement of people around the world.
But do you believe they're all?
Are you Kim Jong-un? You think people should only stay in one country and never leave and be blocked from leaving their country?
I think
that's a very illiberal and conservative position.
I think there's a big there's big room to move between being Kim Jong-un and saying that.
Not really. Hold on. Practical terms, if you accept.
Dude, you gotta shut the fuck up for 10 seconds, man. God damn. Let the motherfucker talk.
Give one side. I want to give the other. There's a big room to move between being Kim Jong-un and saying that everybody in the world is an American, they're just not on our soil yet. I think
Yeah, that's the slippery slope fallacy. What he's saying is that if you say this, then that means you also believe this. False. I like Mehdi. I'm not gonna lie. I like a lot of his stances. I think that he's pretty neutral. He's pretty, he's got a pretty smart outlook on things. I think that he is a politician. It seems from this discussion that he's very political. He's good at filibustering. He's good at talking over people. He's good at inhibiting them from getting their points across or organizing their thoughts by just bombarding them with fucking liberalism, right? He's good at that. I don't like that. Overall, this was great. I'm going to go ahead and sign off. But I hope you guys enjoyed this. I like this. This was fun. I'm going to do another one. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what I should talk about next, all right? Peace. Time for a blind reaction. Mehdi Hasan versus 24 right conservatives. Never seen the video before. Oh my fuck.